Okay, so alien invasion theories,
Mm.
right? I mean, those are a dime a dozen these days. But this one you sent over, this one's about aliens using, get this, butter chicken to control us.
Yeah.
I gotta say, that's a new one, even for me. So, you ready to dive into this whole alien butter conspiracy?
Absolutely. Let's dig in.
All right, so from what I gather, this theory claims that aliens are sneaking some kind of fake butter into our food.
Right.
And it's messing with our minds, our bodies, basically turning us into, I don't know, they're puppets or something. Am I getting that right?
You're pretty much spot on. The theory says this faux butter makes us, well, easier to control, more susceptible to their influence.
Okay, so classic alien invasion stuff, but with a culinary twist. But it's not just about making us crave butter chicken all the time. What's the end game here? What are they trying to achieve?
Well, the theory doesn't really get into specifics,
Right.
but it does suggest that they're trying to manipulate us on a massive scale.
Mm.
It's all about control.
Okay, but control how? Like, are we talking about building pyramids for them or something? What's their big plan?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The theory just says they're using this fake butter to exploit us. But for what purpose, who knows?
So it's like they're spiking our food, turning us into mindless consumers, but we don't know what we're being used for.
That's the gist of it, yeah.
It's giving me the creeps, man. It's like that movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but with, non-bread.
Exactly. It plays on that same fear of the unknown, the idea that something foreign, something we can't see or control, is infiltrating our lives.
And what really freaks me out is that it's not totally implausible, right? I mean, think about how much we still don't know about the food we eat, the additives, the processing.
You're right. There's a lot of anxiety around food these days.
Mm,
GMOs, pesticides, factory farming, it's enough to make anyone paranoid.
exactly. So we've got aliens potentially messing with our butter chicken, and even if they're not, we've got plenty to worry about here on Earth.
And this theory really highlights that, doesn't it? I mean, it's one thing to worry about artificial sweeteners or whatever, but to think that our food could be used to control our minds, that's a whole different level of unsettling.
Okay, so we've talked about the control aspect, but there's another layer to this whole thing, right?
The tiredness.
Yeah, the fatigue factor. Tell me more about that. How does that play into all of this?
Well, the theory claims that this alien butter, aside from making us more suggestible, also makes us constantly tired.
Okay, so we're talking about more than just like needing an extra cup of coffee in the morning. This is like chronic exhaustion.
Yeah, exactly. The theory suggests it's intentional, that the aliens are using fatigue to make us even more vulnerable to their influence.
Because when you're exhausted, you're less likely to question things.
Precisely. Your defenses are down, you're not thinking clearly, you're just running on autopilot,
And that's when they strike.
potentially.
It's like they're wearing us down little by little until we're too tired to resist.
It's a pretty bleak picture, I have to say.
It is. It really is. So, putting aside the aliens for a second, is there any truth to this idea that fatigue makes us easier to manipulate?
Absolutely. In fact, there's a whole body of research on decision fatigue. Studies have shown that when people are mentally drained, they're more likely to make impulsive decisions, to give in to temptation, to be persuaded by, well, pretty much anything.
Wow, so this theory is tapping into something very real, even if the alien part is, out there.
Exactly. It's playing on our very human anxieties about work, about technology,
Ugh.
about feeling overwhelmed and exhausted all the time.
And that's something we can all relate to, right?
Absolutely. Who hasn't felt like they're running on fumes these days?
Yeah, tell me about it. So, what you're saying is, even if this whole alien butter thing is a load of baloney, it's still making us think about some pretty important stuff.
Exactly. It's a reminder that we need to be aware of what we're putting into our bodies, how we're spending our time and energy, and whether we're really in control of our own lives.
It's food for thought, literally.
It is.
Well, on that note, I think I'm going to go easy on the buttered chicken tonight.
Probably a good idea.
But hey, maybe that's what they want us to think, right?
Maybe. Or maybe, just maybe, we should all just try to get a little more sleep and see if that helps.
You know what? That's probably not a bad idea.
Probably not.
Well, this has been enlightening. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. It's been a wild ride.
My pleasure. Always a good time.
And to our listeners, thanks for listening. And next time you order takeout, maybe think twice about that extra side of garlic sauce. You never know what's really in it. Until next time, stay woke, folks.